What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Sort of Truth podcast, the alcohol-fueled, chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sort of Truth series with a pot full of craft brew on the side. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade, and on this week we are venturing into chapter 51 of Stone of Tears.
That's right, we are. You know, I really like this chapter. Richard is himself a lot in this chapter. You kind of see all of his best traits, and at the end, specifically, he gets to be such a smartass, and it is awesome.
Yes, it's a very good chapter. So we're gonna get the fuck into it. Okay. After scaling down the side of the palace, Richard makes his way through the city. We kind of discussed this a little bit before the podcast started. I assumed this was super late at night because of him saying he was tired to Pasha at the end of the last chapter. But this may have been earlier in the day based on what ends up happening later in the chapter.
No, I think it is at night because that's the chapter itself opens by saying the amount of people in the city didn't go down at night.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yes.
So maybe Richard is just faster at travel than Pasha is.
Oh, most likely.
Okay. This seems to be a very long night, I guess is my point.
And he walks everywhere, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's got some pretty good, leg muscle.
Please, Jade, finish that sentence.
A lower half. Okay. So people are offering Richard all sorts of shit as he's walking through the city. He says he has no money, and they don't really care because apparently the Palace of the Prophets will pick up any debt that he incurs.
Yeah, they see the collar, and that means money. Even if he doesn't have money.
Oh! When we first listened to it, you asked me how they knew.
Yeah.
And I
figured it out.
Yeah, I didn't even think that far into it. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, they see the collar, and they know even if he doesn't have a dime on him, they'll get theirs.
They'll get paid,
Yeah.
The stuff that they're offering him is like necklaces, clothes, all that kind of shit. But there's also scantily clad women who are like pressing up on him and reaching in his pockets and trying to get a piece of the seeker for themselves.
Offering him things he couldn't believe.
He glared at them and got them away from him, but I thought it was funny. Look at these benefits, you know? He's been there for 2 hours, and he has everything at his, literally he could get whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, I mean, it really seems like a paradise. If you look at what it is, dude, you're gonna have magic, you're gonna have room and board and money and women and,
Kaylin who?
Yeah, so many lesser men would be like, yeah, I don't even remember her name. It doesn't matter.
I mean, they've been through a lot together, don't get me wrong, but they haven't known each other that long.
That's true.
I could see being swayed. That's all I'm saying. Richard is not swayed by any of this shit, though. He heads out of town, past the Hagen Woods, and proceeds to make a fire and start some rice and beans in his pot for dinner while he waits for Gratch.
I didn't realize that when he snuck out, he took all of his shit with him. I figured, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a woods guide, but he would have gotten into his room and been like, okay, what do I need for the night? Apparently, this was part of his plan. So, yeah, he would have taken those things, but I don't know. It was just, it was weird to me. Like, oh, he's got pots and pans and all of this shit. He's ready to cook.
Yeah, I think it only specifically said he took out, extra clothes and stuff like that. The stuff he legit had for his long-ass journey that he's not going to need.
Oh, yeah.
Going out into the countryside for a night.
But for tonight, he's a man of the woods, so
yeah.
he can get a lot of what he needs out there anyways.
Yeah. So eventually, Gratch shows up behind Richard. He ends up giving him a hug and wrestling with him. And he says the beloved line, and I don't know that I want to... Do you want to do it, Nate?
Oh, no. I want very much for you to do it.
Oh, I don't know that I want to, though.
Well, it's so worked up now, Jade.
Nate.
He says, Gratch la Gratcharg.
Yes. I don't think I could have not done the voice. That was my problem. I would have had to do the voice. It would have been terrible for everybody to hear.
That wasn't even a voice. I just read it.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Mine would have been way rougher than that. I saved everyone.
I doubt that.
But
Patreon episode to come, everybody. Just saying.
But it's a very cute moment because he says it to him and Richard says it back. And they love each other and they can tell each other and just, aw, right?
I mean, I think everybody really wants this. Anybody who is a pet owner wishes desperately that their pet was able to secretly talk the whole time, and then they finally talk to their pet. We do this all the time. We tell Loki to just talk to us.
Just say it.
Just come on, buddy. We know you can do it.
We're not going to tell the secret society that it's happening. Just fucking tell us.
Yeah.
No. We're just crazy people.
But no, Richard can do that with Gratch now, and that's huge.
Yeah, I think it's fucking awesome. And they end up having, like, a little conversation in this way where Richard is, like, talking, and Gratch understands what he's saying and, like, signs his answers back to him.
So Gratch tells Richard that he was able to catch his own food, a raccoon, and he tells him this by, like, putting his hands above his eyes and looking through his fingers, or his meat claws, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's raccoon. Gratch knows how to say raccoon, or squirrel, or rabbit.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was really interesting, the way that they were able to communicate. And, like, so many words. Like, they've obviously spent so much more time together than we've been able to witness.
Yeah, it doesn't really go into a lot of the nights that Richard and Gratch spent together, but it must have been teaching, going back and forth, Gratch learning. We just weren't there for a lot of the journey. We were there for the highlight points.
Yeah, which is okay with me, I suppose. So Richard ends up taking out a lock of Kaylin's hair, and he tells Gratch that he can touch it, but he's got to be fucking careful.
Gentle.
He wipes a tear off of Richard's cheek when he's all, like, cryy about it. And...
When he's all cryy about it.
Like a little bitch. I'm just kidding. But Gratch obviously has empathy for him, too. So it's, like, this is a smart creature.
So they eat what Richard has, and then they get some rest. They wake up after a few hours before he leaves. He gives Gratch a rundown of the situation. He tells him to stay away from the city, don't cross the river, and humans are friends, not food. Don't eat people. People me, don't eat. And I feel like for as smart as Gratch is, he would have already grasped this concept.
I feel like he hasn't really had experience with humans that weren't kind to him. Like, because Richard is his basis
of people.
Yeah, so
right.
You would assume he wouldn't be like, yeah, I want to eat them people thighs. But he gets, like, sad when Richard tells him that. He's like, aww. So apparently he's been thinking about it.
No people. It's like people were bacon. Ugh, I don't know, man. That's a big ask.
Well. Richard also tells him he has to stay the fuck out of the Hagen Woods. He's gonna go in there, but Gratch can't follow him. Richard has the sword. He's gonna be fine. Gratch stays out.
Yeah, you can't go over there by the big rock house. You can't go in the woods with me. You just have to, like, either sit here or fly away.
Yeah, which, I mean, I'm sure there's shit he can get into.
The hardest thing to have to tell a pet is to go away, right?
Yeah.
Don't follow me. Stay here, boy. It's one of those, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. But he tells him he's coming back another night. He promises he's going to come back, he's going to wrestle with him another night, and it'll be fine.
I've seen the movie. I don't know.
Hey!
Sorry.
Richard heads into the dark woods, and it's gonna be fine, okay, Nate? It's gonna be fine.
All right.
He sits in the dark-ass forbidden woods and knows that Pasha is gonna come eventually. So he just sits there, he hangs out, he thinks about home, everybody that he's missing, Chase, and... Chase... There's only, like, 4 people from the Westland that we know about. Chase and Zed, and then Kaylin.
Yeah.
But he misses them all, especially Zed. He didn't even know that he was his grandpa for very long. And he kind of acknowledges in his brain that he should have stayed at the palace for a little bit longer with Zed so they could talk before he left instead of, like, impulsively leaving on a dragon immediately. But then moves on in his thoughts. I just thought it was interesting that he finally acknowledges that because we were saying that the whole time.
Yeah. I thought you thought I was going to give pushback on the leaving on a dragon, and it's not coming, just in case you were waiting for that. Yeah.
Good.
Always go with the dragon. Sorry. Just saying.
Well, yeah, I don't disagree with that, but, like, have dinner first.
Okay, yeah, dinner first. We can agree on that.
So he misses Kaylin a whole bunch. He thinks about her the most out of anybody, obviously. We know this about him. Everything from her smile, to her eyes, to her touch. And he doesn't know if she's going to go to Zed. She has no reason to, because he's like a fucking monster, you know, and she hates him now. He's fully convinced of this fact in his mind, so he doesn't think she has any reason to go to Zed, even though we also know that he knows the Keeper is, like, a problem, right?
Yeah. Oh, big problem.
I feel like the
biggest problem, in fact.
Yeah, I feel like he keeps forgetting that. Like, even if Kaylin doesn't like him anymore, she's got bigger issues than not liking him anymore. She's got to use him to, like, close the veil and shit. His issues are her issues, too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if the Keeper is only Richard's issue, it's everybody's issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it means she's got a stake in it. Like, she would care about his outcome.
Yeah, so she's gonna go get Zed. Okay? She's gonna get Zed. Don't worry about that, Richard. He's gonna at least be notified of the situation.
So as he thinks, he starts to kind of subconsciously touch his Han, just kind of out of habit. He pictures the sword, and he eventually pulls it out and feels the anger all through him, and, like, he's in super meditative state, but, like, elevated too.
Angry meditative state.
Yes, angry cloud. He senses something behind him, and just out of the blue ends up in a fierce battle. Like, life and death, sharp things in the dark. It was insane. All of a sudden, he's hyper aware of everything around him. He's doing the dance with death, with the spirits, and his own thoughts, and the sword's magic.
He's being taught by the spirits.
Yeah, he's like, teach me, in the middle of the battle, which was kind of weird.
But he's thrilled that he can still, like, bring the rage and use a sword. And I think that there's obvious reasons why you would be thrilled about that when you're in captivity. But I think more than that, when he was held by Denna, he wasn't able to use a sword or touch his, like, rage, right? Because it was controlled by her. And I think he's just relieved that that isn't cut off from him while he's here. Which, I mean, I think was maybe obvious, but I think the fact that it was completely cut off there and here he's still able to is, I don't know, something. He knows that he's in a different situation as a prisoner here than he was with Denna, and he got out of that one.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, one could argue he could say he's in a better situation here.
Yes.
At least he's not getting the shit kicked out of him every day.
And he's still able to access this part of himself. So, I mean, so far, pluses.
Yeah.
He ends up besting this strange creature that's attacking him in the night after he dances with the spirits of the sword. And he enjoys all of this. This is a super good release to him. And he feels better once he has murdered the thing in the woods.
As you do.
Yeah.
Or as you would, I suppose.
I mean, I assume that if you are a murderer, that's the release you feel.
It's a whole thing,
It's gotta be the satisfaction of the thing. If not, then what's the point, right?
I mean, I can't really answer that question, Jade.
I guess. Maybe not. Maybe you can't.
Can you?
No.
I believe you.
Good.
And I believe that it's time for a beer break.